Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
Early in the 20th century, textile mills dominated the landscape of North Carolina. Today, the mills are long gone, but many of the towns and families remain. And while their stories can be similar, few have been preserved to tell theirs like that of Cooleemee in Davie County. And this is their story.
Well, the story is, and Cooleemee, is that Cooleemee got its name from the Native American who had come down and was drinking water cup from his hands. As he brought it up to his lips, he said, "It Cooleemee."
Others say it's a Native American word that means where the white oaks grow. Either way, by the turn of the 20th century, the owners of Irwin Mills decided this was the perfect location to build their cotton mill.
This mill town, it was a wholly owned company town, and ads were in the newspapers asking the farmers to bring their horse teams, their mules, their oxen, and their sons to come build a brand new town on the banks of the South Yadkin River.
Times were hard on the farm, so it wasn't a difficult sell. Plus, it would provide their families a way of life they'd only dreamed of living.
Good profits were made from the cotton mill by the mill owners, and a lot of their profits were poured back into the community to build schools, playgrounds, baseball team.
The mill also built homes, or mill villages, for its employees.
My great-grandmother came here in 1912, the best that I could figure, with her children from Yadkin County. So you rented by the room, and each room was 50 cents a month.
But after World War II, Irwin Mills decided it no longer had an interest in managing the homes in the mill village, so they sold them to the people who had been renting them. By the early 1960s, Irwin Mills sold to Burlington Mills, who had no use for the town square and had it bulldozed away. The only memory of the bustling center remains in a mural. By 1969, Burlington Mills had also closed. But what should have spelled certain death for the community, in fact, did not.
It's interesting because Cooleemee as a community just thrived on because it was such a close, tight-knit place. Even when people started working elsewhere, the community remained, and it survived.
Nearly a half-century later, Cooleemee remains home to many of the mill hands' descendants.
It's a quiet little town, and everybody knows everybody, and it's just a great place to live, a great place to grow up, a great place to raise a family.
Making a trip here, you'll see that, and you'll instinctively feel that we're very proud of what we got and that we want to share it with people.
This is what we call our Elders Wall.
The way they share their history is through several museums and places of interest to help them remember with accuracy why Cooleemee was and remains so special. The Zachary Holt House is now the Textile Heritage Center. It tells the true story of the mill hands and the life they led.
My sister and I came up. We've been wanting to visit the museum because our grandfather actually worked in the mill and our great uncle ran the gas station.
A lot of times working people get left out of history, and that doesn't happen when you come to Cooleemee. The little Doffer boys and spinning girls, they're part of our pantheon of heroes, and we know their names. They're not just faceless textile operatives as they go down in the history books.
1 block away is the Mill House Museum, a home built in 1905 but restored to its heyday as a mill village home.
This is the children's room in here.
Everything in it is pre-1930. Everything from the lighting system to the floors.
Even people who lived in other mill villages in the state feel a connection to the homes in Cooleemee.
We grew up in the village, and everyone took care of everyone else. You know, the parents of my friends were just as important to me as the others. And we just had a bond that we still carry, I guess.
Did all my courtship in a house very similar to the ones we visited this morning. That's really brings back a lot of memories. We've been married 57 years, so it's just a fun memory.
I guess second to the old square, The most important gathering place for Cooleemee people for those 100 years was at the river. There were baptisms there and picnics and courting. The older people called it sparking. And it's a place where there's a natural 22-foot fall of the South Yadkin River.
It was called the Bull Hole, given the name after a bull met its demise in one of the whirlpools. But like the mill and town itself, residents prefer to remember the watering hole for all the good memories it gave them.
The historians are likely to write the page in history for the cotton mill people as being like a slave plantation, where the mill was the big power and lorded it over the workers. Far from it, I think the cotton mill people themselves want to tell their story, and that's what we do in Cooleemee.
For more information on the center, you can visit online at textileheritage.org. We also have a link on our site at unctv.org/ncnow.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.